Hey guys, welcome back to Kingdom of Football channel, which is the first number one channel that's provides you with three things such as entertainment, insight, and opinions. So this is me again, Bella, but we have new faces right over here from Next Step. I'm pretty sure you guys know Charlie, and we got some new guests, Callum Brooks. Hi guys.
Evening, guys.
Yeah, how are
Evening.
you guys today?
Always good. Always happy. Always ready to talk.
Always ready to
I'm,
talk.
I'm,
So
I'm, I'm settling into a. It's settling into a new environment, so
I see.
it's nice
Yeah,
and hot.
how
So I'm
was
okay
it?
with that.
Okay. Are you adjusting well? Everything is good?
Everything's been lovely. Yeah, yeah. Everything's been
That's
great. Yeah.
nice to hear. And League Cup is coming soon. How is it?
Yeah. I mean, I saw the draw today. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think Group A. Group A is going to be very, very interesting because you have um, Kokong EDC. Um, and I can't remember who the third one is off the top of my head. 𝗓𝗙𝗫𝗠𝗧, sorry, yeah, 𝗓𝗙𝗫𝗠😓. So those three, they're all knocking on the door to be CPL teams anyway.
Mm,
Um, and Kirivong and Tiffy, I think those three teams could give those two teams a very, very good run. So I think the four go through. I would say there's two spots and there's five teams that could go. So it's going to be very interesting, that group.
yeah, I'm so excited for the League Cup because it seems like there's a lot of new players coming in. And yeah, from last season, a lot of people, like coaches and players, have been learning a lot so far. So I'm pretty excited to see everyone kind of like gather all of these knowledge that they gain to actually put it into acts.
Well, I mean, we want to see that Spirey front line. It looks amazing.
Yes,
you know.
exactly. It. They just brought in all of my boys.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting. They bought very well this summer. I think they're winning the transfer window so far.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, before we get into serious topic, come on, introduce me to Mr. Callum Brook.
Callum, introduce yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Jim Rapeso.
Don't be
Very
so
nice, very nice to be here.
welcome.
You know, I've been made to feel very welcome, and obviously I've come over. I was inspired by this man's passion and drive, and trying to, not change a football club, but also change individuals and the face of football in Cambodia. I'm not a well-travelled man. I've had a good career back in England, but I'm not a well-travelled man. So for my first day, I arrived in the night, and it's very different to what I know. But I've been out today, and I've been around, and it's very, very nice environment, nice people. I don't think I'll go hungry. I think there's food everywhere, and I want to try it all. But yeah, I've got a good CV and good levels in England, and
Yeah.
it's a time was right in my life to try and, I wouldn't say take a risk at all, but open the world up a little bit and expand my
Yeah.
horizon. And
Yeah.
as soon as I reached out to Charlie, he's with his vision for what he wants to do. It's something that I just thought, you know what, it's something very close to my heart, and let's see what I can do. So I'm here to support in any way, shape, and form, and it's that simple.
Yeah. So, what's the difference? How do you find Cambodian play and in England? Like, what's the difference?
Well, the man next to me will probably answer that a lot better than me, because I've watched a lot of videos of players from here, and I'm starting to learn about the names of teams but I've got so limited knowledge of not of football at all, but the landscape of football in Cambodia, how it works, how you arrange friendlies, where you train. So I've I've just sat quiet and done me. I watch things, but I've got nothing to compare it to. I don't know. I look at it, go, that was a great goal, or that player looks great. But I don't know whether there's players that I could bring over from England who would be stars, or I don't know where they would fit in. But I think on that point, it's quite important, because speaking to a few of the people or players I've already met, a lot of them dream long term of getting opportunities abroad. And I think it's important for us as a club to have them pathways and contacts where they could go to England maybe for 2 weeks, and we find out where they fit in to the pyramid.
That is
So
actually
obviously in England, you've got a big pyramid of football.
yeah.
Whereas obviously here, I believe it's in the early stages.
Yeah, it's growing. Yeah, I mean, it's always been one of the biggest missions, or the vision for the club has always been that we want to create opportunities for Khmers that other clubs are not doing. So we've always aimed to look beyond just Cambodia. You know, like, you know, Syrian and Phnom Penh Crown. You know, you've got your big four here, but we're looking beyond Cambodia. So we want to be sending our young players. I mean, obviously we see in the news, Nick Taylor, you know, he's causing all sorts of headlines, and that's a Khmer that, you know, is on the other side of the world, and you know, he's a quality player. Like, he's going to be fantastic. And I just believe it's important for the growth of football in this country for them to be learning in other countries. They have to go abroad, and they have to challenge themselves.
To get out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the other thing as well for me as well is, like, when we took back in 2017, when we took an under 14s team to Sweden. I remember we were walking around the stadium just doing the opening ceremony, and our Facebook page that day had 150,000 people watching from Cambodia. And I've always had this dream, this vision from there, like, the first Cambodian to play professional in England, it's going to be absolute mayhem here. And that's one big dream of mine.
Yeah, one thing about us Cambodian is that we like support these people, like especially like the Cambodian people who comes and go playing football in another country or in the country. Yeah, like you said, like Nick Taylor, he's currently the star and on top of every hot news ever. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's like you said, he's a poster boy for the country now, and that's, again, it's a good thing. That means there's going to be people in America now putting their eye on Cambodian football, and obviously the CPL, they're doing a very good job in raising the profile of the game here. So obviously, you know, we've got good coaches like Callum coming and joining us, and so, yeah, the game is growing here. It's still young. It's still learning. It's still not ingrained in Cambodian culture. You know, like, to answer sort of the question you asked Callum earlier, like the major difference for me is, I say this to my players all the time, like, football is the closest thing I have to religion. You know, I don't feel anything. No, I just don't feel anything like when I'm in a church and things. And yeah, I'm jealous of people that do. You know, I'm jealous of it, but I just don't feel it. But football makes me cry. It makes me happy. It makes me angry. It makes me, you know, it drives me all the time. It's the closest thing I have to religion. It's because it's in English culture from the day you wake up, you know. It's in the papers every day. You play it in the playground every day. In Cambodia, they don't have that yet.
Yeah, but your insight was like the determination of a true coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, for me, it's there's many better coaches than myself. I think the one thing I always have tried to do is get players to love the game, because football's such a short career. You know, you can only play it for so long. And, you know, I quit playing at 22, and it's the biggest regret I've ever had. You know, I miss it every day. But yeah, to love what they do, love football. And that's all I try to get across to them every day. If they enjoy it, they love it, then they'll be great at it.
Of course. Yeah, it's always the motivations and the determination. Yeah. And as a coach, if you love to teach, then of course you will like strive for it and make people also love to play. So if you didn't, like, I'm sorry if you didn't achieve your goal, like, and quit football at the year of 22, but currently right now you actually like work in that field still. So hey, it's not nothing.
No, that's it. I mean, listen, I knew probably about age 14 that I was always going to be a better coach than I was a player. Even as a child, I used to sit behind the defense, stand behind the defense, and all I used to do is shout at people and tell them what to do, move them around, make them run, because I couldn't run.
Yeah. Like they said, he was born
Yeah.
a coach.
Born coach, I think. Yeah.
All right, all right. Okay, let us get it start into it. I already feel the rage is burning right now. Okay, okay. So first question, could you tell us the history about Next Step? I heard that you have like this short history as a professional clubs, but a long history of working with younger players. So can you share us a little
Yeah.
bit about
So, well, listen. I mean, it started back in 2013. I'd met a Khmer player called 𝗘𝗘𝗫𝗧 So he's the fitness coach at 𝗘𝗘𝗫𝗙 right now. But at the time he was 19 and one of the best players I've ever seen, like one of the best players I've ever coached. And I said to him, like, I wanted to help him go to another country. I had connections in sort of Australia and the US, and we could have sent him anywhere. And, he looked me in the eye and he said, Charlie, goes, first I help my country, then I help myself. And, I fell in love with him instantly in that moment. And I said, well, how do we do that then? So what do you want to do? And he said, I want to build an academy where young players can come, they play, but they must have high level of education. And it was very important to him that players, so he knew even then at 19 that football could be used to motivate kids to go to school. So we set about our academy, and we used to say that if players didn't attend, 90% of their school and they didn't maintain like a grade C, at least a grade C, then they wouldn't be allowed to train. And that's how we started. And very, very quickly, we grew. I think our highest point.
That sounds like actually a smart move to keep kids in school as well as keep them enjoying this football thing.
Yeah, again, if you remember, sort of back in 2013, football was definitely seen as a waste of time by most mums. Like kids can be, and so this is the only way that we used to be able to combat that, because we used to be able to say to the parents, saying, look, use the football. Don't use it. Don't see it as a waste of time. Use it as a motivational tool. Like my mum used to do it with me all the time. If I was ever naughty at school, if I ever got detention or anything like this, didn't do my homework, I wasn't allowed to play at the weekend. That was the threat. If you don't get this done, you don't play. Yeah. And I would get it done.
Let's be real. They've got a lot more chance of not being a footballer than being a footballer.
Yeah.
Now, just to highlight how much I agree with that. Like I said, my dad was head of the academy at AFC Bournemouth, who are now Premier League team, and he implemented exactly the same thing. If you don't take care of your education, or if you're being rude or you're not looking after your teachers properly, no football. And I think if you don't do that, we're totally creating the wrong impression. So, yeah, only to back you up on that one. Yeah. I think that's a real. If you've done that a lot of years ago, that's a wise and positive thing, and one that's global, really.
Yeah, of course. Again, like Callum said, less than 1% of the players that play football will make it as professional. So they have to be educated. They have to be.
Yeah. Because football, like, let me cut you there. Football is not all about physically, but it's all about like the knowledge too, like the physics, the math, the everything. You gotta like think before you kick, before you hit the ball, and that's actually like I kind of like no, it's not. I actually motivated by the footballers. Like as a watcher, you're just like, why don't you do this? But no, like you guys think and move at the same time. So it's so hard.
You are quite literally repeating one of my coaching points right now. Yeah. I always say to my players, like you need to understand, you need to know what you're going to do with the ball before you have the ball. So every time the ball moves, you've got to be thinking, right, if I get the ball now, where's it going? Get the ball now, where's it going? All the time. But you're right. You're 100% right. You've got to,
with that, I think
Before you kick.
the better players see pictures. They see pictures of what's going on. They see them quicker and they process them quicker. So on the like psychological side, I've known players who've got no real technical ability that have got great careers because they've got loads of physicality.
Yeah.
And there's loads of players with great technical ability but are not so physical. But you take away the psychological side, we all know players that with that little bit of steel up there or that little bit of understanding of themselves. So for me, I totally agree with you. I think the mental side is the one you can't lose. So when in England, coaching split into 4 areas, technical, tactical, social, psychological, physical. The psychological one is the one that anything else you can lose, but you can't lose the psychological side because that controls everything. So you got some knowledge. Fair play to you.
You know, when you're like a representer, you gotta like not only watch as a fan, but you gotta watch as an inspector. You know? Yeah, like the coach does. Yeah. You just don't like judge like, oh, he can't do this right. No, he's trying, using his head and legs at the same time. And
But
yeah, there's obstacles and everything, but it's a
I think
game.
once you go to the other side, I think then you become a student of the game. So I go and watch Spurs in England, but once you're on the coaching side, then you know you are making notes of team shapes and patterns, and it's hard to get out of. But yeah, it's a great game. It's a great game, and no one knows anything really, so we can all help each other.
Yeah. Hey, as a true fan, you actually watch everything. Like, oh, which kind of ball does he play better? Like you as a coach, you already know. Like, okay, so these type of people, yeah, we gotta play long ball with them, and yeah, we gotta like block this guy. We gotta do this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know. You guys know better than me. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much. But yeah, again, like you said, it's I find like as a coach, I support Tottenham back in England. I probably watch them less now than I've ever watched, because once I can see how bad they are really, then I don't want to know.
You're lucky you didn't spend loads of money on season tickets and then decide to move out here then.
Yeah.
I've still got to try and sell my Man City tickets next week, I think. So
Yeah, it happens. All right.
But yeah, so we went off sidetrack. So it started as an academy with education. And then I think last year when CPL took over, there was just an opportunity. There was an opportunity for us to become the 12th team. And obviously, I think we probably weren't ready, you know, financially, and you know, the foundations were not there yet. But it just felt like it was too good of an opportunity to turn down.
Actually, like that was also in one of my questions. Like it came into shock that you guys goes into League Two so early, and yeah, we all like super curious. Like, what happened then? That's all right, cutting you there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I think because League Two the year before finished very late, so there was a lot of uncertainty about who was going to be allowed in, how many teams were going to be in there. So we didn't find out, actually, when they did the draw for the league, we didn't know we were in the draw. We had no idea. So I was watching the draw for the league and we were the first team pulled out. And my phone went absolutely crazy because everyone's like, what? Next step are in? I was like, apparently, yes. Yes, we are. But I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was a great day, but then obviously we had 2 weeks to register 30 players, find a coaching staff, try to find money. And again, it was, you know, from day one, it was an uphill struggle. But, you know, we're at the top of the hill now.
Getting there.
Get in there.
Yeah, but you guys doing a really good job. Yes.
Thank you.
But anyway, what about next step? Like where does that come from? Why next step?
Oh, I mean, that's a very good question. You probably should ask Sapol. Like, I honestly could not tell you like why he had that name. Like, you know, he's one of those. He's very, very quiet, and then he just pops up with stuff like this. You know, he designed the badge. Like, like I had a dragon and all these flames, and I had this big horrible vision. And he went, no, what you doing? This done. So yeah, I mean,
cool sign and a cool name too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what we've always tried to do as well is we've always maintained that we're not going to be one of the biggest clubs in the country. Like, we're never going to be, we're not aiming for the top of the CPL. That's not what our end goal is. Our goal has always been to develop the best young players and to give them opportunities. So we know that players coming to us will not be with us forever. They'll be with us for a season, maybe two. So we're just kind of like that next step in their career. We know that we're only a stepping stone to where we could have been called stepping stones. But yeah, we know we're there. We're only a step in their career. They're not going to end their career with us.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, it's like a growing. There's a word for it. How did I forget about it? But yeah, there's like a growing opportunity or growing classes. Oh, there's a word for it. I'm sorry.
Go on, you're all right.
No, I kind of like forget about it. No, once I forget, it's gone. But yeah. Anyway, next one. What makes Next Step different from other clubs?
Again, I mean, I think I just kind of said it really. I think our end goal is not to win titles. Like, we lost some heavy games this year. There were a few games where we got really, really spanked, and it was embarrassing. But what I used to say, what we said to the players was, they took on the tactical information. It was all about learning for me. Like, when we played up, when we stand next to, a team like ISI, who got, all the money, they got a lot of money, great players, experienced players, been together years. For me that day, we said to the players before the game, today's a fight. Just all I want you to do is go out there and be as physical as you can. Give this lot hell, because it was raining and it was, Hanyaman was, they did a great job at Hanyaman, but it was raining and the game almost got called off. And I said, look, they can't play football today. This is going to be a fight. So let's just go out there and fight. And, when I see like my 17-year-olds, squaring up and trying to fight, and, they're getting muscled off the ball and they're going to get pushed over. They're going to lose their fights, but they get back up and they go again. And, at the end of the day, on paper, we lost the game 5-0. But for me, I think we won that day. We won that day in terms of our aggression and, our spirit. It was great. And that's all I wanted from the boys. Yeah. So, we're a club that emphasizes that they're learning as they go. So these young players, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. And unfortunately, they're going to make them on TV or on Facebook, and, but
it's a process of lesson for everyone. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, this group of boys, I cannot praise them enough, because, it would have been very, very easy for them to have quit last year. We get beat 17-0 by 𝗓𝗡𝗓. Let's quit. We could have quit there and then, but they got back up and they kept going, and next time we played 𝗓𝗓𝗓, it was 4-2. So
huge progress.
Yeah, I mean, that was Bruno goal. The Bruno goal.
And you think them resilience.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm more concerned about, you said it was raining. I didn't think it rained.
It does rain.
All right.
It does rain every now and then.
Oh my God. You know what, Callum?
I've not heard that bit.
No. Like, every time Next Step play a game, every time Next Step has a game, it's always raining.
Always raining.
Always raining. It's so
I've got to get on the phone. I've got to try and get to another country.
She's
I didn't
not
realise
wrong.
that.
She's not wrong. It's always raining.
Or after rain or something, and then they have to fight on these like wet battlefield, and it's so crazy.
All right, I'm gonna grab a charger. 1 second.
Okay, Callum.
This is plugged in, isn't it? He's just grabbing a charger. Grabbing a charger for the phone.
Yeah. Don't worry. Take your time. Yeah. Callum, how long have you been here now?
I arrived last night. Yeah.
From?
It's from London.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I arrived last night at 7:30. So
How's the
24
jet
hours.
lag?
Yeah. What's
Yeah,
that?
how's the jet lag and everything?
No, I've been all right. I don't sleep on planes either. Yeah, I don't sleep on planes either. So, yeah, no, it's been all right. I think when you arrive somewhere new and exciting, it's, and it's nice and warm, I think it makes up for a little bit, doesn't it? So, yeah, 24 hours. My first full day completed, yeah.
Sorry, Bella. All right.
Oh no, don't worry.
There you are. There you're charging now. Beautiful. Oh, bring that heavier thing over. Sorry, guys. There we go. We're back.
Yeah. And you did mention a little bit about Bruno. Obviously, Bruno goals attention. Like, he got all of these attention from all around the world. How was that experience?
It was a great cross. I mean, listen, I think it's hard to describe, because I think when the goal went in, I didn't think it was that good of a goal. I was actually angry that he shot because I thought he was being lazy, to be honest with you.
No, if you see it from up, like from the stadium, the fan section, it actually looks super cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great goal, but like I said, I thought he tried to cross to nobody. I thought he was just being lazy, like he was running into a dead corner. There was no one there, and I thought he was just kicking it. But obviously, when I saw the replay, I was like, okay, yeah, he meant that. All right, I'll give it to him. I'll give him a bit of credit. Nah, listen, I mean, he's a fantastic human being. Like, I can't praise the boy enough.
Yeah. He's
and
a
he deserved it.
fighter.
Yeah, I mean, he deserved it. He's another one. He came into the situation of the club where, we couldn't afford to pay him. We were covering his accommodation and things like that, but we just couldn't afford to pay him a salary. So, he's not sat there and moaned about it. He's gone out and he's become a personal trainer in town. He's put himself into the community, and he's made the very best of what was a very difficult situation for him. And that's kind of what we want next step to be. It's everything's going to be a challenge for us. Like I said, we've not got a millionaire that's going to come in and give us $100 million to go and win the league. But what we do have is people that share a vision, that want to create something special, a football club that changes lives, and I think Bruno's life has definitely changed.
Yeah, he actually is. Like, I didn't do like these stalking things, but it's just happened to see like he's really getting himself out there with the personal training and everything, the diet and everything. And
I saw your interview with him, Bella. You're stalking him, all right? I saw the interview. Don't
Stop revealing my secrets. Hey, you gotta know about the people that you're gonna interview. Hey, yeah. Yeah, and Callum Brooks, you're next.
Yeah. Don't look too deep.
We'll see. But yeah, I understand though. You guys had like a lot of problem with the field, off the field, of finding sponsors and everything. So how do you cope with that? Like, how do you guys survive?
Well, I mean, listen, it wasn't easy. For myself, it was probably the toughest thing I've ever had to do. Not just in my career, I think probably most of my life. It was constantly letting people down, because we knew that every time we finished a game, that the next game was going to cost us another $2,000, and we didn't have it. So every week was just a struggle. And, I have to thank so many people, but the guys at Handyman, the guys at 𝗓𝗘𝗫𝗧, our office, our sponsors, everyone that kind of was angry, but let us delay another week, the bus driver in particular, you know, like, bless his heart, he was driving to Phnom Penh, you know, 2 or 3 times a month and wasn't getting paid for it at that point, you know. But he kept doing it, you know. And there was a lot of people that could have been very, very horrible about it. But I think what was really nice was, like, the community really did wrap itself around us, and everybody did help. And again, for the players and, you know, for myself, it was a little bit embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? It's not. We know how it looked on the outside, and, you know, it just wasn't us. You know, we are an organised club. We are a club that, you know, wants to do all the little things right. You know, we do put a lot of attention into everything that we do, but obviously money does make the world go round, and, you know, we just couldn't. It was hard to tell people to stay on and work for us when we couldn't pay them, you know. And so it was very difficult. But you know, what we did do was we'd sown a lot of very, very good seeds last year. So, you know, we had a lot of good meetings and good conversations with good people in the industry, and all they kept saying was, you know, get through this first year and then we'll talk in the summer. And that's what I kept saying to the players. Look, let's just get through it. Let's get through this together. And I promise you, the summer, everything will be better. And so far, things are moving very, very well. Like, we've just signed a new kit deal, a new sponsor for our kit today. You know, a new media company have come on board, a new investor about to sign to take sort of 25% of the club. You know, we're looking at potential moves out of the province, so we may move away from Siem Reap. So yeah, I mean, lots of very, very exciting things are happening. You know, and people like Callum coming to join. You know, I think, like I said, the base and the foundations of the club have to be right this time. This is why we haven't played games yet or started training yet, because, you know, we want to make sure everything is perfect this time, you know, not rushed like it was last year. You know, so we're getting foundations in place.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, again, it'll be the same group of players, maybe a couple of new faces here and there, but I'm very, very determined to prove that this group of players were not a bad group of players. They were just in bad circumstances last year, you know?
Yes.
I think in the right circumstances, they definitely deserve another shot at League Two, and they're going to get it. And we'll surprise a lot of people next year.
Yeah. I'll be sitting and watch. Yes. I'll be sitting and inspect.
Yeah. I think coming from the outside, and Belly, you probably agree with this, but it did seem hard last year. Look, I can't say I wasn't here, but my feeling from what I've picked up is that, like you said, there were certain circumstances which are difficult, maybe thrown in the deep end, but I think everyone within that club now deserves an absolute second, you know, deserves a chance, because, you know, I can see the honesty and integrity that goes into the planning. I've been part of group chats for maybe a month now when I was in England, and it's that we want to do really well. We want the little details and the base. We've had a great meeting today where we're putting some internal things in place, but ultimately that will come down to some, let's not, everyone needs money, like Charlie said, to make it go round. But we're going to do what we can without the money. And at the same time, I like to think, part of my role will be trying to support as well. We need people to be interested around the world in what we're looking to do as well. And support us in any way, shape and form. And it might not have to be financial. It might be they can add a quality to, it might be like, I know a great psychologist in England, might be that we use him for the psychology, and he puts that on his CV. So we've got to be creative, but I think Charlie's very harsh on himself about last year, because I've managed games where you're getting beat heavily, and there's people, giving me a lot of stick, and you feel it's the loneliest job in the world. You want the ground to open up and swallow you, but at the same time, same with them players. If you then to get back up, and the fact the players wanted to stay, I suppose that does show a little bit of cultural difference.
Yeah.
Players, a lot of players in England, they're moved for an extra tenner, an extra tenner a week, and they're off. You know, and to stick with it means the camaraderie must have been, because that takes some selling, that getting beat by that, and then still getting a group together next week. So I've looked at it from the intent and the moral kind of compass of where the club wants to go, and that's a good reason I'm here. So I just wanted to add a little bit to that. So it's it will get better, but I also think to any club starting and possibly being thrown into the deep end and still having a season 2, key word was there is we got a season 2, and I think that's a huge thing. So credit to the people that have been involved, because that's my view from what I've just picked up on bits and pieces. That's all.
Yeah. No, I also picked up most of the information after inspecting. So yeah, there's always a first time of everything, and first time doesn't mean to be perfect. There's always flaw for first time. Yeah, and like you said, Charlie, it was hectic for the first time, and currently you're trying to take it slow and everything, and reflect on the experience that you gained from the last season to this season. So let me ask you again, how would you reflect from your first season playing as in a professional club? Like what's more?
Well, I mean, again, I think we gave debuts. So we gave debuts to 25 players last year who had never played before at this level. So 25 players made their debuts. I think 17 of them were under the age of 19. And, there were 6 or 7 others that had been told they weren't good enough by other clubs. And again, we played a whole season with no salaries. And, we stuck it out. Like, I cannot. I'm a coach, and I probably get told off for this quite a bit. I'm always looking at the positives, I'm always looking for the positives. Losing 17-0, what was the positive? There wasn't many that day, I can tell you, but, I'm always looking for it, because it's what gets you up the next day. So, I could sit here all day and tell you about, we have no money this, and this person hated me, and this person doesn't like me now, and I've lost this person, and, I didn't sleep for a week. But at the end of the day, it's going to do us no good. We've got to focus on what we did do well, and what we do very well is we give opportunities to young players, and we're producing more young players than anyone else. And I think that's the coaching side of things is where we're very, very strong. And I hope that every player that's sort of coached by us will walk away better, not just as a football player, but as a human, just as a person. They learn to love, be positive, learn to love the things that they're doing, whatever it is.
Yeah. We live in our own mind after all, so you gotta better make our mind a peaceful place to live in. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so now to a new chapter in 2023. I understand that you guys have a lot of new plans preparing for this CL2 in August.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, the squad will be more or less the same. We've got a couple of signings that have already happened, but they're behind closed doors, and we're keeping them quiet just for now. But one is 𝗕𝗓𝗓 and one is 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. Both are going to make headlines, which makes me very happy. But obviously, like I said, I think the biggest thing for us right now is like Callum coming across. We're doing a lot of structures being done in the sort of at the top level of the club. So we've got a new president. A new vice president is about to come on. You know, our board is now, we've got a board of people that can make decisions, and basically now I have no power. I just get to coach, which is what I want to do. And, you know, people that know business and people that know how businesses work better than me, they'll be able to get the club financially stable and moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, got you. One thing that I need to be aware of is that I'm gonna look into who's new in town. So one Cambodian, one foreigner. Is it?
The Kamai is he's a Siem Reap boy.
Oh,
He's coming from one of the other clubs, so it's gonna be a bit tasty. But yeah, and I mean the foreigner is fantastic, just a fantastic player.
oh my God! You speak so high of him that I'm like super excited right now.
The only thing I could tell, I'll give you one. The only hint I'll give you is he'll be coming here to play in the Southeast Asia Games for his country. So he'll be here in May playing for his country, and then he'll be joining us.
Oh wow! Nice.
The only hint
Okay,
you're getting.
a game.
And yeah, and probably Bruno. I mean, hopefully Bruno signed. You probably know if Bruno's going to sign before I do.
No. No. So Bruno, is
Come on,
Bruno
Bella,
gonna be
you're
staying or
stalking. You
not?
must know if he's going to sign or not.
He seems like he is.
Yeah, I believe he's going to.
If it's not, you need to get him over the line for us.
Yeah, go and talk to him. Tap in tonight, Bella. Tell him sign for next step.
Wow.
We'll talk about commission, no problem.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, it seems like I'm way too chill to not
No, but
stalk anybody
You
no
can have
more.
all
I
the
think
free tickets you
gotta
want
get
next year.
back to it. Okay. So, which players should we be looking out for next season?
Say again?
Which players should we be looking out for in the next season?
It's a good question. So we've got a couple of young lads. There's one lad in our academy called 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗏. 17.
Ooh.
For me is just frighteningly good. He's left-footed, and I always love left-footed players. They've just got such perfect technique, and this boy just every time he gets the ball, he's one of those players. He very similar to sort of 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, like he gets you off your seat. You know, he gets the ball and he just wants to drive forward and dribble past players, and I love players like that. You know, every time in training he turns back. If he turns back, I scream at him every single time. Every time he passes the ball, I want to scream at him. Say, don't pass the ball, just dribble. Do what you are born to do. Dribble. And if you lose it, we'll cover you. Don't worry about that. Just dribble. Go and be a dribbler because you're brilliant at it. But he's very exciting. And, you know, we had a couple of boys last year. I mean, 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗏𝗓 came into the squad, came into the team at the end of the year. He's another one. He made a couple of mistakes in his first game. I think he cost us a goal against 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and he was heartbroken. But he gets back up and he goes back out in the second half, and he has a blinding second half. He has a goal disallowed actually, and he's just the way he reads the game, and he's an adult playing in a child's body. You know, like he's got an adult brain the way he plays football, and he's going to be a very, very good player for us this year, big time.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if they hear it, they would be delighted to hear like the coach speak so high of them. Like,
That's if they're
already feel
watching. I bet
good.
they're not watching. I bet none of them are watching.
They will be all over themselves.
Yeah, they're probably on TikTok or something.
Anyway, yeah. So next one, what can we expect to see from next step on the pitch?
Improvement. I mean, massive improvement. Obviously, like I said, I think I've said it. I did a interview for BPVE the other day, and sort of talked about Callum coming and saying, like, for me, just having someone else that loves the game as much as I do. You know, when I worked at 𝗓𝗘𝗪 with Aaron, you know, Aaron was another one. Like, he understood football the way that I do and loves it the way that I do, and you know, we share a vision. And you know, I think for the players, it's just going to be good to have two people there that are energetic and that are going to put their arm around you and love you, but they're also going to kick you in the arse if you're not doing it. And you know, I think we both, you know, I've known Callum since our school days, so over 20 years. You know, we were probably rivals at school. I think, like, we're at different schools. Different schools. He was a striker, I was a defender. So, you know, we were probably rivals growing up a little bit. But, you know, we had a chat a couple of weeks ago, and within sort of, you know, 24 hours, we knew it was gonna work. And you know, that's a big thing with football clubs. Like, you can get all the pieces together, but if it doesn't blend, you know, the chemistry isn't right. Doesn't matter how good the players are or the coaches are. And I think with Callum, I knew straight away that the chemistry was going to be good. And yeah, I mean, that's the big thing for us this year as well with the players, is getting the chemistry right between the players. You know, we want players that are gonna die for the badge.
Yeah.
And they're gonna run through. They're gonna just run. You know,
Yeah,
run.
Mm.
Yeah, just improvement, energy.
Yeah, it seems like they have a lot of ambitions already. Yeah.
I think it's about, on the playing side, it's about creating the environment that we've drawn up, really.
Mm.
So, energetic players that want to and quite frankly need to be fit, are disciplined as a group, but love what they do. So, you know, I'm there to support that, and I think we're on grass. I think we're training 4 times next week.
Yeah. We have a friendly against 𝗓𝗘𝗪 on the 4th of February. So it'll be our first kind of first training. We're back to training next week for a few days, playing a game, and then the following week, fingers crossed, we should be able to make a couple of big announcements, and onwards and upwards.
That's it. When they arrive next week, you know, for training, you know, that invite is going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to have an aim to it, because we've got a game to prepare for. We know what we want out of the game, but ultimately, our ambition is to create an environment of enjoyment, fun, and players feel they can express themselves.
Yeah.
Make mistakes, no problem, as long as you run. But you must run.
Yeah, I can see that with all of these storm and rains and wet fields and everything. Yeah. Okay. Now we're on to Callum. I'm sorry I'm leaving you on the side for too long. But hey, what will you be bringing to next step?
Enthusiasm.
That's a good start.
Enthusiasm. So a really enthusiasm for the game, but to back that up, you know, I wouldn't say a wealth of knowledge, but certainly knowledge, and experience of coaching players from the ages of 2 till first team football, in some environments to develop, some environments to win games of football. You know, and I've built every club I've been at. You know, you know, the project is to build a little bit outwards as well. It's no good us just having a first team. We've got some ideas, so just to help and be another body behind a great vision. And that obviously, then the people that I know back in England, we might have a few more followers, and it's just about that growth and progression. So yeah, I'll be bringing some. Yeah, I'm an organised, effective football coach. I think, you know, you see the reviews I get in England on that part, you know, and the comments I got, the messages I've got. You know, there's no doubt I can bring a lot to the football club, and hopefully to the local, the local children, local people, and hopefully Cambodian football, to be honest, because it's down to all of us to improve that.
Yeah, that's pretty inspiring. You guys make me super excited for this, like these games, the League Cup, the CL2. Yeah. So anyway, next one. How did you prepare for coming to Cambodia?
Yeah. No, it come at a good time. It come at a good time. I was looking to do something else. I built a business up in England. I've been in non-league football, and I just had this burning ambition to. I'm not. I said I'm not. I don't want to be the person that's never really tried different cultures, or I'd go to your standard places as a person, from England, Barcelona, Turkey, and on holiday. And I've always been interested in learning different cultures, different languages. And I just got to the point, I thought, you know what? If I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And my children are a little bit older now. So I've had my kids a lot for the last 3 years. And I wanted to make sure, I turned down a good job 3 years ago abroad because of that reason. So, yeah, just good timing. But preparation-wise, I'm a man at the end of the day. I don't need bundles. I'd had to sort some affairs out in England, but really, and this is what I would say to, although a lot of coaches would think about making this move, as it picked up pace, I was put into by Charlie and certain people. I was put into different conversations where I got a lot of, I got that support of, make sure you take that with you. Make sure you take that with you. And so preparation-wise, not bundles. Packed a bag, squared off some business, and I just headed over. That's it. Only way to do it, in my opinion.
One-way ticket.
One-way ticket. Yeah. One-way ticket. One way doesn't mean I won't go back, but I think the intent has to be if you buy a month, then you've got that thing of I might not, to give you've got to give anything like a real proper go. And except the next month for me, there's going to be, I know I'm going to have days where I go, what am I doing here? This is totally different from what I know. But again, that's part of, I think you said the word earlier, comfort zone. I done an interview with a local paper back in England. And that was what I said. I just need to get out. Some people, I've only excelled in life when I'm out of my comfort zone. And I could have probably sat there for 30 years doing the same thing. I thought, no, get out of the comfort zone and kick on. So, yeah, here I am. A couple of weeks later, and I'm sitting out here. I'm wondering what food I'm going to eat.
Well, it seems like you have been quite successful back in England. Can you tell us a little bit more about your career in there again?
Yeah. I come from a family of, I grew up around football. I missed, many days of school when I was young because I went training with my dad instead of going to school because he was full time. My granddad played for Spurs, Chelsea, England. My dad played, and unfortunately, the talent fizzled out a little bit on me playing wise. I used to get a few goals against 𝗕𝗘𝗫𝗧, I think, but that was about it. But no, and then from there, I lost my way a little bit, really. And I went into a job which was a means to an end. And then at 25, I went, that's me. I can't, I need to carve a career out in football. And I went to Bournemouth and I got my first coaching badge and I volunteered in places. And then I ended up quite quickly, to be fair, going into first team kind of management. I got offered one opportunity, which turned into another opportunity. So I ended up managing men quite quickly, and that kind of forged out a bit of a career. Now, I was assistant manager at Port Town. We won the Southern Premier League, and we qualified for the playoffs in the Conference South, which you're in front of 1,000, 2,000 people a week there. It's a well-paid job back at home for players anyway. but I worked for a good manager there. And then I went back into management myself, and I went to a club called 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗑, which was fantastic. The chairman, God rest his soul, he's passed now, but he had a 5-year plan and really ambitious. And we started doing okay. Team played some good football. We left them, I think, in their highest league position. And at the time, we had the longest run in the bars. But then I ended up going to a club called Dorchester, which is a big club back at home. And I couldn't turn it down, and we saved them from relegation. The next year didn't go to plan. It was probably a big job. Maybe too much too soon, don't know, but that's experience. But so I can't say I've been hugely successful in the fact I've got loads and loads of trophies, but I've been hugely successful in the fact I've managed clubs which, unless you've got a playing career in England, you can't really dream of doing. I've created my own academy back at home, which is still thriving, and we've got players into many clubs. I've got built a reputation as a good coach. I think sometimes, even back at home, some messages go, Cal, you probably should stick to coaching more than managing, because that's where you really excel. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that comes out the coaching side. I think everyone's got an opinion. So I think the 10 years I had in England, if I could not imagine it. I never thought I'd get the opportunities I did, to be honest with you. And, and it's been unbelievable. Like I said, I know what it's like to win games where you never thought you'd win. I know what it's like to lose and have people, hundreds of people shouting at you and calling you all names under the sun and taking criticism. So that's where I am. And in the time I built my business and was in semi-professional football, I worked in education as well. So a lot of my work was supporting students that might not necessarily find the mainstream 5-period timetable per day easy. And I used to make sure these kids had support to get out into the working world. I used to be their champion. I used to be their mentor and their voice and support. So I think that obviously, again, ties in with kind of what we want to do with people here. So sport and education, I never thought I would have a career like I did. It's been brilliant, but time now for a new challenge.
I see. Yeah, that's a lot of things.
It's a bit.
It's like a little bit of everything evolving football.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you like to achieve here in Cambodia?
I think definitely what we've set out tonight with regards to making sure we improve players holistically, as people, as humans, and I want to help build a football club. It's as simple as, the sky. Alongside doing that, I think there has to be a balance. I want to win stuff, of course. I want to make it the best we can. Sky's the limit for me. I know we say we could never be that. I don't know if we get our base and our product so right, and we attract people, a lot of people are going to want a part of that. So yeah, I've come, like I said, first of all, but no, the big ambition of mine as well, and I've said is to support the man sitting next to me, and I've made that clear, and the club in any way, shape and form. I know what it's like to build a club. I know just doing the nice things is not necessarily, like in England, non-league football's all very voluntary, and there's people, I could name so many, like it's too many to mention, but they are the heart. There's so many people that give so much of their time up to do, I know groundsmen that are physios and they're up fixing floodlights and washing kits and fixing lights and driving buses, whatever it takes. So, I don't have any ego around anything like that. So if I need to cut the grass, then I'll cut the grass. If I need to coach the back four, I'll coach the back four. So that's my ambition, is to just help where I can, and we'll see where we end up. But the noise is from the club, and it seems positive, and that's why I'm here. I wouldn't travel 10,000 kilometers without a little bit of belief.
Yeah, you gotta believe in yourself to make it happen. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I believe you guys to make all of these changes. Yeah, and supporting you guys. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're getting closer to the end. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Fellas,
We
quickly,
finally.
I've got a question for you. Who's going to win? Who's going to win out of 𝗖𝗘𝗪 and 𝗓𝗘𝗫𝗓 in the League Cup?
Come on! Don't put me in the
Come
spot like
on.
that.
Who's it going to be?
In this cup league. Mm, uh, I
Come on.
okay. I got to admit that I haven't actually watched their like friendly game yet, so I didn't know the improvement that they got. But um, okay, I'm sorry, baby's cup, like my kittens, but I think the Sotilo gonna make it.
All right, good, good. All right, perfect.
You've been putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
Don't do my baby tiger like that. But
Good.
yeah. Anyway, for any you fans, give me the determinations and everything. Like, why should people support Next Step? Yeah, give it all.
I mean, that's it. I think. Listen, again, we're embedded into the community here. Like, you know, there's 49 players in this country that are playing professional that have come through our academy.
Mm.
You know, I know myself. You know, I'm not always very well loved or liked, but you know, I'm still here, and I've got to echo what Callum was saying. There's no ego with me. Like, I'm not doing this for my own career. Like, you know, I'd rather see 10 players make it and me never ever climb up a ladder as a coach. You know, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy helping young Khmers achieve what they want to achieve. But for me, the biggest selling point we have is we're a family-run club, and like Callum said, you know, other clubs have 30, 40 staff. We're going to have 10 staff that are doing 4 jobs each, and we're going to love it, and we're going to be close, and we're going to cover each other's asses, and you know, we're going to have fun, and you know, like I said, we're going to shock a lot of people this year.
Yeah. I think you already shut me up because like during this conversation and everything, like this interview, it's kind of like got me hooked because of you guys like determinations and these um yeah.
I like to think if anyone listened to this would be a good advert.
I
You
know,
know, we've got
right?
to be very proud. You know, we've got to wear the badge and share. You know, share
Yeah.
publicly what we're doing.
Mhm.
Because it is something to be proud of, and you know, if the club's embedded in the community. That's no mean feat for a start. So yeah, it's just I think anyone listening to this would go, you know what, maybe a little bit underdogs, but they won't, you know, they certainly won't be beaten on enthusiasm or endeavour or hard work.
Yeah.
And I think that's got quite a little bit of romance about Next Step, I believe, and I think football's about that. So
Yeah.
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 We're
It's the fact that you
we're
guys
full of people
never
supporting. They're
quit
not.
just got me. Like, keep running, never quit. Do it.
I mean, again, you know, we're very, very thankful for the Football Federation and CPL. I mean, I know it seems like I'm always complaining about them, but you know, I can't thank them enough. You know, they've given us an opportunity to help young players' dreams come true, and you know, they're very, very important to what we want to achieve. So you know, it's a big thank you to them, and you know, the referees as well. You know, I'm always shouting at them, but you know, it's not because I want to win. It's because I want the game to be the best it possibly can be. You know, I want Cambodian football to be the best it possibly can be. You know, because you know, I'm an Englishman, but Cambodia is my home. You know, and you know, I know my own little boy. You know, he's going to play for Cambodia one day, and it's going to be a proud moment. You know, like this is my home. This is where I plan to spend the rest of my life. So, you know, I love football, so it's got to be good to watch. Otherwise, it's going to be a boring life.
I think going back right to the beginning, because a lot of people ask me why Cambodia, etc., etc. But then within the story of the goals for the club, obviously you've got the main core objectives for what the club needs to do, but you've also got a lot of spin-offs. There's a lot of things that are yet or haven't been done. So when you said about getting the first person over to England, you know, when it's been done before, it's not so much of a, you know, it's been done before at the end of the day. So when you've got all these different extra bits of history that are possible to make, like if anyone asks me, you know, why would you go there? I think that's your main, you've got an opportunity to have an impact, right?
And Bella, just for the record, this was a coffee shop when this interview started. It's turned into a bar, but it was a coffee shop when the interview started. Promise you.
Don't worry.
I don't know what happened.
I can hear you
Doing a
guys loud and
cappuccino.
clear, so that's a good thing.
It's all right. Well, I might come back here. It's only around the corner from me.
Okay.
Anyway,
okay.
I mean, thank you so much, Bella. Thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
And again, yeah.
Yeah. But hey,
Thank
before
you.
we go,
Cool.
next step shirts. Like,
Yes.
how can fans buy it?
Wow. Again, I mean, we have maybe about 30 of last season's left. That I'm getting players to sign, and we're just going to start handing them out around town and things like this. And like I said, we just signed our new kit deal, our new uniform deal today. So that will be arriving very, very soon. So I'm guessing hopefully the beginning of February, the new shirts will be available.
That's nice.
And ours are always the best design as well. Our kit's always the best, so they're worth looking out for.
Yeah. I'll be waiting and
Record
see.
sales. There'll be a few shirts being worn around here. I
Record
think.
sales at 700.
Alrighty.
right. Thank you, Bella.
Thank you,
Yes,
Bella.
thank you guys.
soon.
Thank
Later, guys.
you. Yes, thank you, fans.